With what I consider disappointing reveals of the S25, and let's, face facts, the iPhone 17 probably won't fare much better when it is announced. This seems to be the perfect time to delve into new mobile phone territory. I have the Pixel 9, and I think it's about time I gave the Pixel 9 a really, really decent chance. See what it's all about, not just as a backup, but as a primary device. So let's get into it.
Now everybody scream enough respect to the X. Enough respect given.
So here we have a quick view of the box. Again, it looks very recycled. You can tell this is kind of recycled cardboard. I do like the look. I do like the texture of it. Even the back of the device, the little tab here that say pull down. I guess that's how you get into it. Just has that look that says this is reusable or reused material. So we're trying or doing our part to help the planet as far as that is concerned. Here's the other part of the box. Let's see if we can get into it and look at the phone itself. All right. I do like the way they're doing this. Look, if you look in the box, it's like it's plastic, but it almost feels like wood. And the little compartment here where they have the paperwork that, again, probably no one is going to read. Take a quick look through it. Oh, they do have the key for the SIM card tray. You can never have too much of these. Boom, boom, take out that. Now here's the phone itself. Right away, you see this camera bump. Just really draws your eye to it. Very unique. It doesn't sit flush at the side. It's right kind of in the center. Almost like an eye. Oh, again with the shapes. I like the way they put everything in, the way it all just fits. USB-C cable, one cord to rule them all. Again, it fits in there so nicely. Let's put this away and get to the phone. Here's the phone. Without even taking it out of its paper wrapping, I feel the weight of it. It's a good weight. It feels premium. Not overly light. Smooth. I like this. I haven't even got to the phone yet, and I like the way it feels in the other hand. The paper itself, it shows you where all of the ports are. Here you have the charging in the middle. This seems to be battery indicator or SIM card tray. See it right there. Volume down, volume up, power. And that's it. And here it is. Now note, I've never officially held a Pixel 9. The phones that I got to interact with were all tethered to a table, so no one could actually run away with them at the Google store, if I remember correctly. So though I've held the phone, it wasn't nearly as free for you to feel the device, for you to hold the device, for you to become accustomed to the touch of the device, or to touching the device. And this feels really good. I give them that. This feels really, really good. That's what it is. Among Us. This visor reminds me of those little things in the game Among Us. My kids play it. I've seen the game. This is what that is. That or the minions from Despicable Me. Either way, I like the way this visor is set. not against the sides of it, but kind of in the middle of the device. Even so, it's offset because the lenses are on one side and the flash is on the other. Very well done, very unique look. You could tell that you're using a Pixel device, even if it's in a case, like just how they have set the camera bump on the device. It wants you to take a look at it. It wants you to know this is Google, this is a Pixel device. This is what you get. It stands out in the sea of all the Android devices. So for the sake of nostalgia, I've brought out my Pixel 6a just so we can do a quick comparison to my newly bought Pixel 9. The first thing you'll notice is the similar camera bumps on both devices. The 6a is a little thinner than the 9, but there's more in the 9, larger battery and such. Of course, with both the devices, I got a similar color. You know, when there's no purple, I go with earth tones. And in this case, the screen looks fantastic. I had to stay with it. During the setup of my Pixel 9, it got the update to Android 15. Now, at the time, this was a really big surprise as my Pixel 6a had not got the update as yet. So I was a little surprised when, as soon as I set up the device, the update was there waiting for me to download. Everything wasn't perfect with the download. For example, here, when I swipe down to the quick settings, there was nothing there. I wasn't exactly sure what happened. I could easily go into a tab and see what was there, but you know, as you can see, it was completely blank, and this was an issue that I had to figure out. After that, it was pull out the original Pixel Watch and pair it. It also gave some issue. I'm not sure what exactly was going on, but eventually that worked out too. And then it was, you know, pair the Pixel Buds A. Now, I had the original Pixel Buds. I liked them, so I was or am really curious to see how these sound as well. The Pixel 9 boasts some pretty impressive specs. It had a 6.24-inch flat display, powered by the Google Tensor G4 chip, 12 gigs of RAM, and a 4,600 milliamp battery. Now, all of those specs contribute to a pretty good looking device. I love the screen. The software itself is so very fluid. The curved edges of the device, everything just comes together to form a device I can honestly say looks pretty good. Now, it just so happens that the wife and I we're going on a weekend trip, so I have a chance to put all of these specs to the test in everyday use. Now, speaking of the camera hump, the camera itself is pretty amazing. I shoot a lot with my S24 Ultra. Actually, most of what I shoot is on my S24 Ultra, but this Pixel 9 is really keeping up with how that S24 Ultra looks. I mean, look at this video. Look how crisp these colors are. I mean, everything just kind of pops. That's really stands out. I know I've heard a lot about these Pixel phones and their AI camera this and photography that, but if this here is what it's like, I really can't argue with what everyone is saying. Now, I realize I'm showing you guys all these amazing pictures and vids without actually telling you about the camera specs themselves. Alright, the Pixel 9 has a 50 megapixel wide angle camera and a 48 megapixel ultra wide lens. This is combined with a 12 megapixel front facing camera. Now, I'm not big into all these camera specs, but I think that the pictures and videos speak for themselves. I have my thoughts. You know, going from an Ultra to the Pixel 9 was a little jarring. Size of the phone, battery life, things like that. But it was a pretty eye-opening experience as to what exactly I use a phone for and how much I'm willing to give up to use what is, in its own way, a simpler device, but at the same time more advanced with the type of things it can do, at least it does do on its own without my input. An interesting experience using this guy. So we all know about the Pixel's ability to just know what it hears around it. It's a staple of the device. In this case, I'm in the mall, and yeah, John Legend was playing, and it just popped up. Another little thing it does is, it'll know when you want to translate something. I don't know why it asked me for Danish, but it can do it. Also, when you're doing dictation, it's able to actually pinpoint who is talking, and it will number them as such: speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, and it just works. Another really cool thing was the add me with the photography. There you see my daughter, then you see me, and poof, perfect picture. Even the height is right between us. Another example here, a bit more complex: my niece, my daughters, my mom, and boom, perfect picture. Height is actually perfect too. It's just cool how this phone works. Then there's screen calling, the feature when a call comes in. If it's private, you can have the phone answer for you.
Hi, I'm a Google virtual calling assistant recording this call for the person you're trying to reach. Can you say what you're calling about?
Ice cream. The AI gives you options that you can select to let the person on the other line get an answer.
One sec, checking with the person you called. Could you hold one moment, please?
Here I'm going to select, can you say more? And it does asking about the details.
Thanks. Can you tell me more about the details?
It's chocolate. And then I can choose to answer and the call will connect. Really convenient.
Thanks. Connecting you now.
And of course, for more nuanced use of your AI, there's always Gemini Live. True, Gemini Live is on pretty much every Android device now, both old and new. Having it on the Pixel, it just seems right at home as it is a Google service. I like them. There's a character in Street Fighter 6 with a similar playstyle and look to what you are describing.
That's right, Jamie from Street Fighter 6 is a breakdancer who uses his moves in combat. He's a great example of how you can blend real-world styles into a fighting game. We could even explore a character who's a parkour expert, using the city's environment to their advantage. What do you think? I
think that is very unique. I don't think I've seen a fighting game character use parkour and include the stage environment in his moveset. Now, I didn't prompt Gemini to come up with the idea for a parkour character. It came up with that idea by itself and then chose to share it with me as it related to the fighting game we were discussing. Can we pause this conversation and get back to it at a later date?
Yes, of course. We can continue brainstorming your fighting game another time.
So the audio magic eraser was something I wanted to try with the Pixel because there are times where I record things and the background noise, I just can't seem to clear it up no matter what kind of AID noise function I use on my editing app. But they say this can do a pretty good job, so again, one of the features I did want to look into. Now, I've had these guys for a few months now, and the main reason why I got them was simply that I need a pair of glasses that pretty much did everything I needed my eyes to do. And I didn't really care for a regular set of frames. I'm aiming to catch, so why not get a pair of
or rented bases that I wanted. Now, these weren't my first choice. I was going to see what Samsung had to offer, but when they did announce their rumored smartphone, I had no choice but to go with the, because this was what was available and what I knew had all the features that I wanted.
Well, that's pretty cool. It didn't get rid of all the background noise. The fact that it was able to bring my voice to the forefront and kind of diminish the crowd noise all at the same time is actually more than I thought it would be able to do. So again, that AI stuff that the Pixel does tout is actually pretty useful. Now, if the AI isn't really what you are into and you just want to do regular phone things on your device, the Pixel is more than good enough for that. The screen itself is actually really bright, really crisp. It doesn't have the anti-glare of the S line, so when outside, if the sun is too bright and you are directly in it, your screen will be washed out. But overall, it's a really good screen. So I was concerned how exactly this thing did. It's a split screen, and it is such a small screen compared to what I'm used to. So it really is, you go in, you press the top, much like with the Ultra, split, maps, and now I can watch my YouTube while paying attention to where the hell I am going. Now, the screen is smaller than I'm used to, like I said. I mean, the fact that I use a Duo to do this most of the time, and in comparison, that screen is, or those screens are massive. And being able to use it one-handed does make it very comfortable. So, in that aspect, this works out pretty well. As for the volume, the phone gets plenty loud. It's not going to win any awards for, having a very powerful internal speaker, but it's more than good enough for everyday use. As for the more mundane, everyday actions you do on your phone, like talking on it, calls are fine. No one complained to me about not sounding clear. To me, everyone I spoke to also did sound clear. So it's just as good as any other phone in this class as far as voice calls are concerned. And in all truth, whether making calls or watching shows, you'll probably be using the Pixel Buds. I was actually taken aback when I first put these guys in. The sound is clear, the bass is just heavy enough. Now, the only real issue I have with them is the battery life. They can't get through a full workday of mine. They die in about 4 to 5 hours, depending on what I'm playing. Text messaging is also just as easy and efficient as voice calls. Personally, I use the Google keyboard. I've become very accustomed to it. Even on my Samsung phones and my Honor devices, I tend to veer towards this keyboard. I'm quick enough with it, but that doesn't mean I don't make mistakes. And I do prefer physical keyboards if at all possible. But yeah, as far as meshing is concerned, it's really great on this phone. The AI is able to help you when you mess up, doing auto corrections, and also changing the tone of it if you so desire. So again, just as good, if not a little better than other devices, as long as you are using the Google keyboard to compose those messages. But like I said, there is a physical keyboard, in this case the Clicks keyboard for the Pixel 9. You guys know I prefer a tactile interface with my devices, and the Clicks keyboard does provide that. If you are an avid mobile gamer, the Pixel 9 has you covered. Whether it's emulation or made for mobile games, the tensor chip inside really holds its own. Not once did I feel the phone get warm, even after extended play sessions. Even when using cloud gaming to play for extended periods of time, the phone held its own. Very little slowdown, if any at all. It stayed connected just fine, and again, it did not get warm. And as before, you can use your Pixel Buds A to enhance the audio experience of your games. So I was curious, and the Pixel 9 does have a desktop mode. It's very bare bones in comparison to DeX. I do like the way your phone does remain usable on its own. You can do whatever you want here, and this still remains in desktop mode. As far as being able to do things, you can go into your apps. You're able to snap them side to side. See there, you see the little frame up here there that snaps down there. Let's perhaps go here, take this one to the other side, and boom, you are able to snap two separate apps side by side and scroll through them how you want. Very helpful. You can resize the windows to have more access to whatever you need on one side, and the menu on something on the other side. As far as being able to interact with the desktop mode, you do need a physical mouse and keyboard, whereas with Desk, again, not to compare, but it is the standard for these things. With Desk, the screen itself could be transformed into a trackpad, and if you did need to type something in, when you clicked on the dialog box, the keyboard would appear on the phone on the bottom half, and the trackpad would just shrink itself. So the phone became everything you needed to interact in desktop mode. As far as I know, this doesn't have that. Yeah, when this desktop mode is complete, it's going to be something. I like this. So the day is done, and the Pixel 9 was put through its paces today. Some phone calls, a lot of vid watching, podcast, music, and you can see here that the Pixel 9 at 7:22 p.m. has 25%. Now, my day did start at, what time did I get up? Let's say 5 a.m. So from 5 a.m. to 7:22, that's a good 14 plus hours. It's down to 25. Now, the battery isn't as capable as my S24 Ultra, because as much as I used it today, my Ultra would have been used more so. Ultra would have around 30%. But for what it is, I can't really complain. Regular usage without all the more video editing centric aspects of using a mobile device, got the phone pretty much through the work day. So I'm off work, and the phone has 10% battery left. Now, this is not typical for the Pixel 9. It's because I used it to tether to my Legion Go. It didn't do much, but it was enough to really hit this battery hard. So just another aspect of the phone that, not to compare it to my Ultra, but is not as good as the Ultra. So unless you are really pushing this device, it should get you through a regular day, at least a regular business day. Few calls, few texts, check your email, some leisurely video, watching things along those lines. So, the Pixel 9. It's been interesting using this guy in comparison to my S24 Ultra. The battery doesn't last as long. The camera isn't as good, at least to me. Not having the S Pen to write things down, little things that I have gone so used to, this phone has kind of alleviated my fear of not having those things. I actually do enjoy using this phone. The smaller footprint, the access to the surprisingly well thought out AI features that run in the background. Gemini itself, that yes, does run on the S24 Ultra as well. So, that's neither here or there, I guess, but I do enjoy the full package that comes with using a Pixel device. I always said that if I stopped using Samsung devices, Pixels would be my go-to. And so far, the Pixel 9 has not disappointed in my thought process behind that. It's everything I wanted in a smart device, aside, of course, from the S Pen. But it does have access to a Clicks keyboard, which kind of negates my want of an S Pen, because it does allow me almost full control of the device from just the keys that keyboard has. But that's a video for another time. But yeah, Pixel 9, and the Pixel 10 is right around the corner. So depending on what they do with that, these phones really are, very unique devices that I do hope start to gain some market share, because the more you use them, the more you start to understand exactly what Google is trying to push for here. And it is a very unique and interesting experience to use one of these. So with that said, my name is NG, the Neonex, and really enjoying, surprisingly so, my Pixel 9 experience. This is what I'm into.